Alright, I know this is weird, but I'm gonna go ahead and post another video as a follow-up to the one that I just posted. And this will be detailing the resolution to the problem that I was having. So to detail the problem that I was having, and this took me a long time to figure out what was going on, but when I tested the server initially, I had the two 48-core CPUs in there with SMT or hyperthreading enabled. That gave me a total of 192 cores, which worked just fine. When I got the appropriate CPUs in, the system booted with SMT off, which gave me a total of 128 cores, and everything booted and worked correctly. Where things went a little weird was when I re-enabled SMT, the system would no longer, it would post, but it wouldn't boot. And so I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I was not realizing what the problem was. So I was searching SMT, causing system not to boot, hyperthreading causing system not to boot, anything that I could think of in that regard, and I wasn't finding anything. So what finally struck me was the number of cores I was enabling. So I had enabled more than 192, and that seemed to tick something off in the Windows installation. So I started looking for high thread count Windows problems, and boom, there it was. Let's see here, which group was it? Serve the Home had several postings on this, and I've found, other people that were having this problem, and then I found the solution in there. And the solution is IOMMU needs to be enabled. By default, this is disabled. And let me see if I can come back just a little bit. There was also some stuff about 4G encoding. As far as I can tell, that did not need to be disabled. There were some people that said it did, but I'm booted currently with 4G enabled and IOMMU enabled. So what that means is, let me pull this over here, desktop, and so I'll bring this over. And so what we can see here is I have 256 logical processors. So I am getting the full 128 threads per CPU. So that gives me the grand total of 256 in between the two CPUs. And everything is working like it should. So this is fantastic. This is exactly what I was looking for and couldn't get. Now, how did we get there? So I'm going to show you, this is the BIOS overlay, which is pretty cool. The Gigabyte BIOS overlay, you can get to it by coming to your individual server and then clicking on BIOS. When you click on BIOS, it'll bring you into the setup. I believe it starts in save and exit. And we're going to come down to chipset. And no, not chipset, AMD CBS. And then NBIO. And then what you're looking to change is this IOMMU here. When you enable this IOMMU, boom, everything starts working. I just could not for the life of me figure this one out, and I am really pleased that I was able to find the thread that gave me the smoking gun of what was the issue. So now that I've got this online, I can close out a couple of the troubleshooting cases I had with Gigabyte. Still not really liking the Gigabyte support. They're pretty clueless. So yeah, just one, they've taken 14 days to reply to a message, and when they did reply, they gave me nonsensical answers. So I'm not really enjoying the Gigabyte support process, but I was able to resolve this one on my own, so I wanted to pass this along for anybody else that needs this bit of information. For as of 2024, this setting here needs to be enabled for this to work. So again, just tick that over to enabled, and then you should be ready to rock and roll. So what does that mean? That means we are 99% of the way finished with the server build. We are really close now. If I can figure out the USB issue, we'll be over the fence. And yeah, I'm glad that we have made it this far. In, you know, it feels like it's been a long time, but it's really just been a week. So I've spent a week working on this, and considering the complexity of the system that I'm working with, that's not a bad turnaround. And in addition to that, some of that was my own issues where I ordered the wrong processors and stuff like that. But when it comes to, you know, getting this online, again, I feel like I did a pretty decent turnaround, and now we're moving forward pretty well. So yeah, really pleased with this, and I look forward to producing more in the future.